Lillee Jean Talks Live. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Lillee Jean Talks Live. I am here today with Charlie Allan, also Chick Allan, and we went through basically every name he could be, but all of them are relatively very cool. Hi.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm doing
Yeah,
good. How are
it's
you?
Charlie Allen on most website stuff, but it's Chick Allen in the film industry.
I gotta ask, how did you get that name, though? Is it because you're a
It's kind
Chicken
of
kid, or is it like, what is
it's a,
it?
it's a short name for Charles. Over in the East Coast where I'm from,
Mm-hmm.
it would be Charlie.
Mm-hmm.
In the West Coast, which is where I ended up moving over to with my mother, it was Chick because they call anybody that's with the name Charles Chick for short.
Right.
Yeah,
Coming
Chick or
coming from New York, hearing you say East Coast and West Coast is interesting because you're in Europe.
Aye.
So it's
Well,
like,
there's a bit of
yeah,
rivalry there between the West and East. So
yeah, it's interesting though because I'm East Coast, New York, and then you're like, I'm like, what? But
yeah,
okay, I got it. So
yeah,
definitely, I want to go right into like, how did you get into like combat? It's like a crazy thing, and you have to be so precise and very, well-rounded about things.
yeah. Well, I was into martial arts from a young age, different, judo, karate, taekwondo, and then I got into the film scene, and I
Ooh,
saw um, how people were managing themselves on set in combat back then, and this
right,
is like 1994, 95. And I could see that it was very stage fighting.
right.
And I mean, the guys were good. They'd have a ruck, and the ones that were um, into having a ruck would have a ruck. Yeah, you had
Right.
to have your permission from your partner to go in heavy. And
Bless
excuse
you.
me, it's the dust from working.
We're
Um,
working already. Oh my God, Cara must be going insane with you.
yeah,
She's
yeah. Well, it's the renovations. We've been trying for 4 years to finish the house, but movies and work and
right.
circumstance kind of taken us away from home quite a lot. So we've had to, as you can see, do a bit of work, a bit dusty.
My God.
But yeah, so I saw in the film industry that there was a niche in the market for guys that would maybe keep it a little bit more realistic.
Cool.
And I think what really nailed the coffin for me, put the nail in the coffin for me was I was sitting watching Braveheart, and there was
Okay.
these two chaps. Yeah, Braveheart. It's we're not very proud of that movie as Scots because it's very historically inaccurate and it gets a lot of stick. But there was two chaps in the background swinging swords around in the air, and we call it fighting air and having a laugh. They were actually laughing, and
Seriously?
at the time I was quite passionate about the fact that somebody had made a movie about William Wallace. So for me it was like there's two lads having a laugh in the background. This is a £60 million budget movie,
Right.
and they had to use that cut because it was the cut they needed to use. And then lo and behold, in the background, there was two guys larking around, which is
Ah,
the perhaps on the cutting floor didn't have any choice. Stuff ended up on the cutting room floor. So I made it my mission then to, get involved in film and television. And through time, I met other like-minded people. And, we all came together and put a team together called Combat International. And we've got if you go into our Combat International website, you can see the credits there. They just go on and on and on and on and on.
it's endless.
And
Yeah.
we've been on some epic movies. We've fought across many campaigns, as we call it.
Oh, I love
And
that. Oh,
we treat it it doesn't matter what the project is, we treat it with respect because we go in and get the job done basically and
right.
create fight scenarios that are more convincing than what we witnessed.
Right. Right.
I mean, the main actors and everybody and the stunt guys, they were all doing a grand job, but these two guys in the background, man, that's what kicked it all off for me. And I thought, I'm going to provide guys that can fight in the background that can fight convincingly, so that they're not a pain in the backside for any director. and that's where we came about. And eventually we started getting recommended. We started getting asked for. Ridley Scott has asked for us on a couple of occasions.
Oh wow, yeah.
Worked with great people like Steve Dent, Rob Inch, and all these stunt coordinators. CC Smith, guys that we grew up with on film set,
Wow.
from film set to film set, and it's just then we set up recently in the last couple of years we set up a training academy to get all our Scottish guys up to SPAC level, which means when they step on set,
They're
they've got
perfect.
a routine. Yeah, they're safe. They've got a routine. They understand the concepts of weaponry. Even though it might be plastic, you can still do somebody a lot of damage. So you've got, guys throwing swords back like this and not paying attention to a guy standing behind him.
Right.
He's getting in the back of the head or getting it in the eye. And these things are still pointed. They can still do some damage. So and yeah, and just basically creating a buffer zone around the principal actors with the stunts, so that any angle the camera takes on, there's guys fighting in the background that can do it properly.
Is it weird, like being the teacher of like the stunts and stuff? Like your brain has to go into a different mode, doesn't it? Like you know how to do something, but how do you convey that accurately? Like, do you vet people who join your thing very like precisely, or is it like you could start with somebody who knows nothing and turn them into something?
We take everybody at face value, and whether they're experienced or not, what we say to them is, we don't care what experience you've got, leave it at the door.
Love
You
that.
know, you have to go by our rules, play by our rules. So,
Right.
and don't come here and try and teach people, because you're here learning the same as
Love that.
everybody else. And 9 times out of 10, we get that respect. It's only every now and again you'll get some guy trying to teach the other guy that's been going for years, and he's just arrived. So it's human nature.
Right, right,
You think they're helping, but they're not really. So we like people to focus on their own movement, and what I tend to do is film people and show them themselves, so that they can see where their flaws are and then
right.
make it better. And we can work on it and point it out together, and we can work on it together. But teaching's a whole different game. I mean, guys can be fantastic fighters and they can put stuff together, but they can't necessarily convey it or teach it
Right.
to other. I've had guys that I've left in control, and I've stood and listened to them trying to teach, and I've ended up, having to go in there and take over myself, because
Oh,
they're just not teachers. Not
right,
everybody is, and
right,
and
right,
that's in any field, really. You might be proficient in something, but don't mean to say you can get that person to switch on to what you're talking about. So I'll teach people in however many different ways I have to teach it or say it, till I find something that clicks in their psyche that makes them
right,
go, right, boom, click,
right.
and then and then they're off. Um,
They're off. Do you never see your babies again? They
no,
go.
no, no. I mean, their training skill was off. They're away.
Oh, okay, okay.
They're getting down the road with it. It's like, yeah, it becomes more natural and more smooth
Right,
for them. And then you get other guys that you get it from the beginning, but they're a bit stiff and a bit sticky, and we call it cardboard cutout like,
okay,
and sort of, yeah, very wooden in their movement. But then we work on the body language, and
right.
it's body language counts. If you've got a bunch of guys running around like wooden tops in the background, it's not going to be very convincing.
Do you make them
So
take ballet and stuff, or do
right.
you make them take ballet? Like some football players actually take like ballet and Pilates and stuff.
Aye, that's right. And I mean, we've said to guys way back, and other guys have said that. I've heard other instructors say, if you can't dance, you can't fight. So
There's something
yeah,
to it a little bit.
yeah,
So I have to ask, when you do things like Gladiator and you do all these big films, you coordinate these, right? Like, how somebody's going to hold a sword, how somebody's going to do this, how they're going to look. How do
yeah,
you make it accurate, like to the era? I'm always curious about stuff like that. That's just a me thing because it's very intricate and so skilled to be able to, yeah,
yeah,
convincingly, this is what it would have looked like.
yeah. I mean, I haven't myself choreographed any big epics. I have been with my team and choreographed my own team,
Mhm.
and I'm quite good at seeing gaps without actually looking through the monitor. So, and we've even had instances where I've held my guys back; they're all ready to go, and I'm like, "Stay back, stay back." Even when the AD's saying go, I'm like, "No, no, 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 wait, 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 wait." and then I'll see the gap, and then we'll run into that gap and fill it, and then they
Oh,
shout cut. And it's like
interesting.
I've had people come at me going, "You filled a gap there that would have ruined the shot had you not done that." So it's like it takes a certain amount of skill and foresight. But
Right.
the when I'm on set with my guys, we usually fight to the main choreographer, the main guys that's teaching all
Right.
the not the essays, sorry, the main cast,
Okay.
and but 9 times out of ten they leave us to our own devices because they've worked with us so much over the years. They know that we're going to just do our thing.
Okay.
You do step onto a lot of film sets, and you can spend like a couple of weeks training with the stunties, and they're saying, well, like, we want you to do this and we want you to do that, and you
Right.
get on film set and it's boom, it all changes. Everything
Right.
changes.
Right.
I even had that recently on Pendragon Cycles. I was filming in Budapest with Bonfire Legend Productions. I got a supporting role in that, and
Rats.
we were, we rehearsed and rehearsed and rehearsed and rehearsed, and then we turned up on set, and then they changed all the guys, and these guys didn't know what they
Ah.
needed to do. So it's like it just everything changed. So it was like I'm standing there going, so I just had to go freestyle, which worked.
Oh
You
my
know,
God.
I
Oh
mean,
my.
I've seen some of the fighting. I've seen some of the fighting that was choreographed. Like
Right.
a a duel that was heavily filmed. But the big battle stuff, it ended up like a free for all. So I just had to make the best of it as I could.
That must be difficult though. Free for all.
It is, and it's a shame because the stunties themselves. They spend so much time working with
Right. Right.
supporting actors and principal actors that when it ends up on set and it changes like that, it must be quite kind of like a wet squid. I was really
Right.
hoping to see what I put together in there. And me as an actor and combat, performer, I was looking forward to that. It was like 72 moves,
Oh wow. They
and,
count
and
moves? Wait, they
yeah,
count
and
moves
72
actually?
moves. Yeah, and it got broken down into little sets, and then they move the camera, change the angle. But you've got to remember where you left off and start again. It was 72 moves. So
Wow.
it's quite a lot of work went into it. So when it changes like that, it's a bit like bit of a wet squid, really.
My
Yeah.
God. It's like a
So
workout for like a month for me. No doubt.
well, I spent a lot of weeks training. Like I'd be filming 2 3 days, and then I'd be in stunts training. So it's like they made you work the whole week, whether you were filming or not. You were training, or horse riding or whatever. So it
Jesus.
was,
I
uh,
haven't, I myself haven't been in anything that's like action yet. I was in Gilded Age. There's a new season coming up. It's on HBO. It's a period piece, and basically my character just walked with flowers. That's it. I mean, that's my exercise. That's it. Okay. So I know that you have this medieval awesome village. I want to know more about that. I think it's really cool.
yeah. Duncarron Medieval Village was an idea I came up with when I was in my 20s. And I met other guys that were talking about doing the same thing, but they were more influenced by Braveheart. I wanted to build something that was a little bit more historically accurate.
Yeah.
Uh, and one of the guys I used to run around on motorcycles with over a weekend, he was a guy called Ian Suddaby. He's an archaeologist, one of the top archaeologists in Scotland, and he gave me some information about duns, and we started going off on weekends with tents on the back of the bikes and visiting these duns and brochs. And dun means fort in the Gaelic. It's still like Dunfermline, yeah, anywhere with dun before it. Dundee, it's an
So
old
it's
fortification.
Fort Karen. So like Fort Karen instead of it
Yeah,
basically okay.
yeah, but it's Duncarron. So yeah,
Duncarron,
so
but it translate. Yeah,
fort.
got it. Got it, got
Yeah,
it.
so um, I just got this idea to build a place where kids could come and be educated about their own culture and heritage, and also people from around. Well, actually at the time, to be honest, I never really thought about
To be
people
honest, what?
coming from all around the world. It was more about creating an educational facility. Nobody wanted to help me fund it, so I never got any lottery funding. I didn't get any government funding, so The combat team, sorry?
I'm really surprised. I mean, I've
It's,
obviously seen photos of what this looks like. It's massive. You should be so proud. You are so proud. It's beautiful, and heritage is so important. We forget who we are, we forget everything. Family, everything is so vital. So I'm really shocked, Charlie, that nobody wanted to
yeah, well,
chip in. It
there's a
helps the
lot of, there's
government.
a lot of
It's Scotland right there.
I know. There's a lot of reasons. I mean, if I had letters after my name and I was a scholar, of some stature, then I probably would have got the funding that I needed. But as
Ah,
other people have, as other people have, but it wasn't forthcoming. So I used the Combat International
right.
team. Its whole purpose was to raise money for Duncarron. So all the guys, all the volunteers of Duncarron and the clan, um, agreed to put in, like, at one time we were putting 50% of our income into Duncarron, me
Wow.
included. I was getting paid more than everybody else because I was managing everything,
Right.
but I still took the same as everybody else. But so effectively, I put in more over the years, loads more. It's quite crazy, really. But I think we've raised and spent in excess of 3 million of our own money
Ooh,
to date to be where we are now today. And we're still spending. It's ongoing. There's always repairs and renewals required. So we're seeking lottery funding at the moment,
okay.
looking for assistance because I believe that their criteria has changed somewhat since 1995 and 96. And I just gave up. I just gave up on them after that. I was like, well, I'm going to do it myself anyway. So
Right.
so we did. We did. So I take great joy sometimes standing back looking every now and again when I as an old friend told me to do is stop and smell the roses. I do stop and I do smell the roses and or
They
the
smell
thistles
good?
rather. Smell the thistle and just look around Duncarron and kind of appreciate what we've managed to put together. And I couldn't have done it without the help that we've had. The hours in labour alone
Right.
must must go into millions, millions and millions, manpower and man hours. So and we are where we are now, But there's always room for development. We're always trying to better it. And as we've had a few movies come and film in there as well. It was never meant to be a film set, but in order for it to survive, we have to have a foot in the door with film,
Right. Right.
have a foot in the door with corporate entertainment, group tours, and of course the education. Because ultimately, we'd love the schools to come and not have to charge anything.
Right.
Because I was always a strong believer in, and this is why I set it up in the first place was that edu children shouldn't have to pay for their own education.
Right.
Yeah. And the other thing that spurred me on with it as well was it wasn't until 1996 we were allowed to be officially by this curriculum, the educational curriculum, teach our own culture and heritage in our schools.
Why? Is it because of
Bec-
England? Why?
Because the law that was passed probably 300 and odd years previous, when after the Jacobite Rebellion, they banned all bagpipes, culture, dress. You couldn't even wear the plaid, the kilt. They banned our language, and things never really recovered from there. So, we became very anglicised and in the central belt of Scotland. So we weren't allowed to teach our own culture and heritage. It was never included. And any time you ever asked about it, which is what spurred me on my journey when I was a kid, um, we were told that we weren't being taught that. We had to learn British history. So
Do you speak Gaelic?
a little bit. My son's fluent. My son
Oh,
Finn,
wow.
he's fluent. My older son, he's 7'2",
Oh
and
my God, what?
yeah, he's a big lad. Basketball player size, like
Oh my God. Is he going to be one
when
of
he,
your
when he,
fighters?
I'm 16. I'm about 100 kilo, and when he hugs me, I feel like a small child.
Oh my
Well,
God.
he's a big,
Whoa.
he's a big lad. Aye. So is the next one. But yeah, yeah, it's been a long journey trying to get
Yeah.
Duncarron up off the ground, and I think it's taken 20 odd years of my life, um, and most of that was voluntary. I've tried various ways of raising money, through music and through corporate entertainment and combat and all kinds of
Right.
stuff, and that's all going to continue. But yeah, it'd be nice if somebody came along and gave us a hand sometime, like the lottery fund, and we
Well,
can tidy the place up even more. And I mean, the place is immaculate now. It got a bit neglected for a while because we had no money, and I was away all the time trying to raise money, and things weren't going to plan. So I had to step back in and take the reins again. And now, the last 4 or 5 years, I've changed things around and picked it up, and it's we're getting people coming from all over the world to come and see it because of Outlander.
yeah, I think it films there, right? Or
Filmed it for
something there.
season 7, episode 4.
Very
Yeah,
cool. So what is the trust? Because the
the
Clanranal?
trust, the
I'm
trust.
sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. The Clanranal Trust for Scotland is an educational charity, and
Okay,
I, I wanted to create this this thing. This I wanted to build Duncarron, but I didn't
right,
want it to be somebody's fruit machine or somebody's income. It
right.
had to it had to be protected. So we set up myself, my oldest son's mother, Pippa, and my mother. They set up this charity, and it was to protect everything that we tried to achieve in education.
Right.
So and we had to be a charity to get any kind of support. At least we thought we had
Understood.
a charity to get
Okay.
any kind of support, and it never came. So, but we just pushed on and made our own, supported ourselves anyway, and yeah, tried our best to create as many activities as possible to raise the money for the charity, so the
Right.
charity could fund the Duncarron project.
And schools aren't collaborating with the trust to bring this
They're
forward.
coming. They come and visit. They come to Duncarron, or we
Right.
go to them. We go
Oh,
into the
okay.
schools. We take all our artifacts, historical, but we also take movie props
You
for
actually have stuff there?
the fun side. Yeah, we've got a ton of stuff, man. We've
Like
got
what?
we've
Coolest
got
item.
the. If you go on Robin Hood, the one with Russell Crowe, there's a battering ram.
Oh,
Russell Crowe
cool.
donated, but he donated that battering ram to Duncarron.
Wow.
On Outlaw King with Chris Pine and everybody, and Tony Curran. They the production themselves. A good friend of ours, Danny McGrath, is a director and an assistant director. He donated the the trebuchet.
Okay.
So we've got it's like a big catapult. It looks like it's weighted at one side and it's centrifugal force catapults.
Fun.
Uh,
That's the funnest thing ever. Just catapulting forward. Whoa.
yeah, I mean, this trebuchet, yeah, it's got catapult. It looks like a catapult, but it's not. It's a
Wait, what
different
is it? What is it? I
mechanism.
want to look it up. Hold on.
A trebuchet,
Okay, I'm gonna look it up. Hold on.
Trebuchet.
Oh, I've seen this before. It's like medieval.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay, okay.
they use these things in the movie, we've got a ton of costume, we've got a ton of shields and swords.
Right.
When we were on the Last Duel, the Matt Damon donated a whole bunch of prop swords and stuff, that you can
That's cool.
use in the background. They're not real, but they can still hurt when you get hit with them. But he donated a whole chest of them
Oh, you
to.
must have been so excited.
Yeah, yeah. It's always lovely to get these things. Yeah, they mean a lot to us as well, because we put our heart and soul into these
Yeah.
movies. So when we get something, and it's not about the money always, when we get gifted something like that, it's nice. It's a nice touch.
I like that. It's a nice thought.
Yeah.
It's like I'm smelling the roses with your last statement. I like it. It's sweet. So, what is your favorite film? This is the last question. But what is your favorite film that you ever put your heart and soul into?
I'd say Outlaw King.
Really? You have
Yeah,
to
it
like
was
King Arthur and all these things. That one, why? What is it about it?
because we filmed it in 74 different locations in Scotland. It was
Whoa.
it was about our Scottish king, and
Okay.
it was even the critics are hard pushed to criticise most of it. There's only one or two little things in there that are not entirely historically accurate.
Right.
And the weaponry and the costume was top shelf. Everything was like properly researched. All the weapons were historically authentic.
I gotta see
Um,
this.
the costume as well. It's called Outlaw King, and out of all the battles that I've been in, I would say that when I sat and watched it in the theatre, it's the first time I've ever had my breath taken away by a battle scene that I was involved in, or
Oh,
even the fact that it was in a movie. For the first time in my life, I sat and watched a movie without looking for things and picking things. I thought, I'm going to see it again anyway. I'm just going to watch it. And I did, and it blew my socks off the way they filmed the back because you're in amongst it all, and the mud's flying around, the blood's flying
right.
everywhere. There's horses, almost trampling on you. You're in danger, like and there's all this chaos and fighting going
Right,
on
right,
around,
right.
shouting and screaming, and there's mud flying everywhere, bodies flying everywhere,
There's bodies.
people getting thrown, and yeah, oh, there's uh, right. So you never get a chance to focus, and you never really get an idea where it fits in the movie either until you see it played back to you, and then you're like, I was gobsmacked, absolutely gobsmacked.
Wow.
So for serious like awe factor, I would say yeah, definitely Outlaw King. For fun and like buzz and like general like let's have a good smash up, it was Gladiator and Robin Hood. That was hilarious.
Yeah, I
Had a
like Robin Hood. That's my
had
favorite.
a brilliant time on that movie. Yeah, brilliant time on that movie. There was a whole scene in the evening where it was at night and it was a marketplace and the guys were people round fires getting drunk. We were all throwing each other through the fire and everything, man. It was nuts.
Oh my gosh. Memories like this are good. You could say them and then you laugh and enjoying what you do is so like important because you can make lots of money on it. Of course, everybody wants to make lots of money, but how you feel is so important. And I love that every time you say these sentiments, you just smile. You love it. I love
Yeah,
that.
yeah, we've got some really cool memories. We were always wondering, like, what would happen if we all ended up in the same care home.
Oh my God, you're already thinking about
I
like the
did.
nursing homes?
No, I was no, I'm not. I'm not. It was one of the lads brought it up as a joke. Can you imagine a bunch of hairy guys all in a care home in wheelchairs
When
arguing
I
about
threw
this?
you over.
I fought in Rome. No, you didn't. I was there. Blah blah blah. I was fighting in the 12th century. They think you're like Diwali.
Oh man, yeah, I remember when I stabbed you. Did you heal well? Yes, I did.
Yeah.
I remember
Remember that time you smacked
decapitating
me with that
you.
axe? Remember the time you smacked me around the head with that axe and like blah blah. Yeah. Oh man, we had such fun. Diving on each other and like in the sea. You're running through seawater. You're up to your knees and
Insane.
you're jumping on your mate and
Oh,
you, you both go in the water. You're
oh
fighting
my God.
and
I
laughing your
agree.
heads off after.
Does that feel real to you too? Like when you do it, like a part of you feels like you're there in that moment.
Yeah, yeah, it's quite easy to get in the moment.
There.
Yeah, yeah, we've had a few incidents like that. I remember on Gladiator when we're standing at the woods and we're screaming at the Romans, and I had 400. I'm standing on a mound and I shout in Germanic, and I've got like 400 guys behind me, all screaming and shouting. And I turned around and looked at them. The hairs standing on the back of my neck. It's like I still get that to this day when I hear
Oh,
that, and if ever I see the movie, the opening scenes. It's like to this day. Yeah, it was quite a buzz. A lot of good times, a lot of good fun. Met a lot of lovely people as well, from costume to makeup to
right.
stunt guys. Stunt guys have been awesome with us over the years, and you know, it's like we just pick up where we left off next time we see them.
Right.
It's good. Yeah, it's got that kind of camaraderie about it. Yeah,
Oh,
all for clan.
Definitely, I loved having you on. You're one of the funnest interviews I've had because you're so
Good.
passionate. You have so much passion. I could see the actor, obviously, because there's so
Yeah,
much. So,
yeah.
thank you for allowing me to have an enjoyable morning because in New York it's 10 a.m. So, honestly, best morning ever. I'm very honored to have you on, and definitely, I want to know where people could help support Duncarron and stuff like that.
Well, we've got a donate button on our uh, Clanranald website, I think, and on the Duncarron website. But just, give us a like, give us a share, give us some positive feedback. Come and visit. Come and visit. There's stuff still there from season 7 Outlander. It's an enjoyable experience, and the photographs don't do it justice. It's absolutely massive, and yeah, keep an eye on us. Follow us on Instagram. We've got a lot going on. We're making a lot of short movies this year.
Oh,
Um, and yeah, we've got Fire and Lace just won some awards. We've got Ye Jacobites coming out this year, and we've got it's in 3 parts, so that'll be quickly followed by 2026, 2027 as well. Um, yeah, there's no stopping us. We're like a train. We just keep going.
damn, I wish I was in Scotland. Like you could like gear me up.
Yeah, we can do all that as well. There's tours available into the costume department and the weapons department. Yeah, people can come and see. And aye, it's a great
Charlie,
experience.
I would be your worst warrior. I just would because I got that girly side to me, Charlie, and it's just it's no good. You would be like you'd cancel me as a client.
Yeah. I bet, oh no.
Yeah, yeah, you I feel like you wouldn't give up on me, but oh my.
No, we don't give up on people. And we'd soon turn you into something warriorish anyway. Yeah.
Thank you, Charlie, for coming on.
You're welcome. Nice talking to you.
Yeah.
Catch up on Lillee Jean Talks live episodes on LilleeJean.com, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and basically anywhere you listen, watch, or see podcasts, or in my case, a celebrity talk show.